Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor. Was it much ado about nothing? EVM hackathon is our top focus this morning. The Election Commission seems to have won its case. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party and others have developed cold feet ahead of the hackathon. Only 2 parties have registered for the challenge. All the details on that big story and much more coming up, starting with the headlines. NCP and CPIM, only 2 parties to register for EVM hack challenge. Congress seeks relaxation in terms. CBSE to announce Class 12 results on 28th of May to follow Delhi court order on moderation policy. Wreckage of a missing Sukhoi 30 fighter jet found in heavily forested area in Assam. Fate of the 2-member crew unknown. Rain-triggered floods and landslides claim over 90 lives in Sri Lanka. India dispatches ships with relief material. And Egypt launches airstrikes in Libya after attack on Coptic Christians. 6 strikes hit Derna. President Sisi says will strike terror camps anywhere. The Sharad Pawar-led NCP and the CPIM are the only 2 parties to accept the Election Commission's challenge to try and demonstrate that EVMs can be tampered with. The deadline to register for the EVM hack challenge ended on Friday. Notably, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BSP, which were the most vocal in questioning the reliability of the machines, were a no-show. Lalu Prasad-led RJD's application for the challenge stood rejected as it missed the 5 p.m. deadline. Meanwhile, the Congress party, which opted out of the challenge, urged the poll panel to relax the extensive terms and conditions that prevents the challengers from conducting a thorough test of the EVMs. The challenge, which takes place on 3rd of June, allows each participating party to have 3 members. They will get 4 hours to prove that the machines can be tampered with. The parties will be given 4 machines deployed in the recently held assembly polls. Prime Minister Narendra Modi led NDA government on Friday completed 3 years in office. While addressing a rally in Guwahati, he said that optimism had replaced despair in the country. The Prime Minister reiterated that people have faith in his government despite some of the tough decisions like demonetization of high-value notes. He also said that his government was committed to build a new India that would fulfill the aspirations of people in the next 5 years. Now, accusing the previous governments of following what he called the British-era tradition of mistrust, he said that the BJP has a different style of working. Celebrations of the government's anniversary, which also coincides with the first year of the BJP government in Assam, will last for 20 days. Now, ministers and leaders from the BJP are participating in various programs across the country that are being called Modi Fests.
हर किसी के दिल में एक आशा जगी है, नहीं जरूर होगा, कुछ न कुछ अच्छा होगा, हम जरूर आगे बढ़ेंगे, देश दुनिया में ताकतवर बनेगा, ये विश्वास हिंदुस्तान के कोटि-कोटि जनों में आज पैदा हुआ है। भाइयों बहनों, हम 5 साल देश के लिए कुछ करने का संकल्प करें, न्यू इंडिया बनाने का संकल्प करें, जहां हर काम में हमारे अपने सपने नजर आते हो, ऐसे कामों को आगे बढ़ाना है।
Meanwhile, opposition Congress party launched a scathing attack on the Modi-led BJP government, reminding the nation that the government policies are anti-poor and anti-people. Now, Congress had alleged that distraction, propaganda, falsification of facts, intolerance and insulting political opponents, as well as questioning the wisdom of intellectuals, has been the hallmark of the BJP-led NDA government. Now, claiming that there was no economic growth in the country and the country has been witnessing a flat growth instead, it demanded the government to make public the GDP numbers as per the old formula. Let's listen in to some of the reactions that came in.
खुशियां मना रहे हैं, जश्न मना रहे हैं, पर मेरा प्रश्न है, कौन सा वर्ग इस देश में ये खुशियां मना रहा है? क्या नौजवान खुशियां मना रहे हैं? क्या किसान खुशियां मना रहे हैं? क्या मजदूर, क्या व्यापारी खुशियां मना रहे हैं? ये खुशियां और ये जश्न सीमित है भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए सरकार तक।
ऑल फ्रंट पर मोदी फेल और हमारे सीमा के अंदर आके पाकिस्तान के सैनिक टेररिस्ट मार के निकल जाते हैं और नौजवानों से लेके जितना भी वादा किया था सब फिल्म फेल।
The horrible situation regarding Kashmir, Saranpur and all, demonetization and the torture, the julum that we have discussed all.
दलित वर्ग के लोग हैं, वीकर सेक्शन के लोग हैं, रिलीजियस माइनॉरिटीज के लोग हैं, गरीब लोग हैं, किसान लोग हैं, इनकी हालत बहुत ज्यादा खराब है।
And earlier, kicking off celebrations to mark 3 years of the NDA government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi opened the country's longest bridge over the Brahmaputra river on Friday. And the bridge has been designed to accommodate the movement of tanks, keeping in mind the need for quick movement of troops and artillery to the bordering state of Arunachal Pradesh. The Dhola-Sandia bridge will reduce the travel time between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh by 4 hours.
Marking the 3rd anniversary of the NDA government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated India's longest river bridge over the Brahmaputra in Assam on Friday. The 9.15 kilometer long bridge has a 3-lane carriageway and connects Sadia town in Assam's Tinsukia district with Dhola village in Arunachal Pradesh. The bridge will reduce travel time between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh from 6 hours to just an hour, besides shrinking the distance by 165 kilometers. Modi dedicated the bridge to the nation, naming it after iconic singer Bhupen Hazarika.
स्थायी रूप से विकास को गति देनी है तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ये पहली आवश्यकता होती है। फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ये दो पटरी पर संतुलित विकास संभव होता है।
The bridge will improve civilian and military movement to strategic locations all the way to Anini in Arunachal Pradesh, about 100 kilometers from India's border with China. It will also reduce 2 days travel time for the armed forces to reach the border.
अगर हम इस क्षेत्र को एक विश्व स्तरीय इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के नमूने के रूप में तैयार करें तो पूरे साउथ ईस्ट एशिया उसकी इकोनॉमी के केंद्र बिंदु में भारत का यह भूभाग बहुत बड़ी अहम भूमिका अदा कर सकता है।
Launched a decade ago under the UPA government, the bridge is among a series of infrastructure projects fast-tracked by the NDA government since 2014. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone for an Indian Agricultural Research Institute in Assam's Dhemaji district and for the first AIIMS in Northeast in Guwahati. The NDA government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, was sworn in 3 years ago after it came to power with a massive mandate in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And as the Prime Minister inaugurated India's longest bridge in Assam, in Delhi, President Pranab Mukherjee and Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari received a compilation of his radio address Man Ki Baat and also a book on the achievements of the NDA government in the first 3 years of the rule.
It was a unique book release function in New Delhi. The President and the Vice President receiving the first copies of 2 works devoted to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan released the books Man Ki Baat, A Social Revolution on Radio, and Marching with a Billion, analyzing Narendra Modi's government at midterm at the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Friday. Recognizing Modi as an excellent communicator, President Pranab Mukherjee congratulated him for giving new direction to the economy.
Prime Minister has given a new direction, no doubt. Various initiatives which he has taken, some of the decisions are no doubt epoch-making decisions. And people of India will get the opportunity through the compilation of his Man Ki Baat.
In his address, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari cautioned political leaders on using words to express genuine intentions and evoking emotions for good. He said the Prime Minister's experiment using radio was an excellent example of communication strategy.
The two books before us capture important facets of an important personality of our times. Given its sophisticated, multi-level dissemination and its large potential audience, Man Ki Baat is an ingenious and influential communication platform created by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. It takes a traditional medium like the radio and marries it to the entire spectrum.
Man Ki Baat, a social revolution on radio, is written by Rajesh Jain, while Marching with a Billion, analyzing Narendra Modi's government at midterm, is written by eminent journalist Uday Mahurkar.
सबको साथ में ले करके एक राष्ट्र निर्माण की तरफ जो मोड़ा है, सबके भाव साथ में लेके, that is something ये दोनों किताबें कह रही है। ऐसा मुझे लगता है। आप सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत सबका अभिनंदन करती हूँ और मुझे विश्वास है कहीं ना कहीं अभी तक हम जो चले तो है विकास के राह में, ये नहीं कहती किसी ने कुछ नहीं किया, मगर जो कुछ कोई कर रहा था उसमें एक स्ट्रांगली वी द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया को समाहित करते हुए जो काम हो रहा है उसको मैं सलाम करती हूँ।
Union Finance and Defence Minister Arun Jaitley praised the achievements of the Modi government in the last 3 years' terms. He said words matched the deeds of the government.
The strength was that merely giving an interview to half a dozen television anchors or addressing a ritual of a press conference in Vigyan Bhavan is not the art of communication. They are merely carriers of a message. Do you have the ability to go above their heads and talk to the people directly? Therefore, this experiment of talking directly to the people, he used radio as a medium. He used his political communications as a medium, just as the example of the Dandi Yatra that I gave used that as a medium, and it proved to be a far more effective medium. And I think these are great lessons we've learned.
At the end of 3 years, most of the speakers felt that communication has been an essential part of the NDA's governance plan, while assigning a key role to the Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat in shaping emergent political goals. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, ahead of presidential polls, now Congress President Sonia Gandhi hosted a lunch for leaders of the opposition parties. After the meeting, the parties put up a united stance and decided to field its own candidate for the presidential polls if the NDA government fails to come up with a consensus candidate. Leaders of 17 parties discussed the possibility of fielding a joint candidate for president to take on the BJP-led NDA's nominee. The meeting is seen as a show of strength by the opposition parties on a day when the NDA government completed 3 years in office. Now, BSP's Mayawati, RJD Chief Lalu Yadav, CPIM's Sitaram Yechuri, CPI's D. Raja, DMK's Kanimori, Omar Abdullah of the National Conference and JDU leader Sharad Yadav were among those who attended the lunch. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and senior party leaders like Ahmed Patel, Ghulam Nabi Azad and A.K. Antony were also present. President Pranab Mukherjee's terms, remember, ends in July this year, and the ruling BJP-led NDA front is yet to name its candidate for the country's top post.
If acceptable, consensual candidates do not emerge, then we, that means the opposition parties, shall decide to field such persons who shall steadfastly defend the constitutional values of our republic.
हमारा मकसद है कि इस पद पर संविधान की रक्षा करने वाला आदमी बैठे। चाहते हैं कि सरकारी पक्ष से ये प्रस्ताव आए, नहीं आया तो फिर हम लोग तय किया है कि फिर ये देश की जिस तरह की हालात है उसमें राजनीतिक लड़ाई के लिए हम लोग अपना प्रत्याशी खड़ा करेंगे।
ऑल फ्रंट पर मोदी फेल। एक चीज में सफल हुए मोदी कि आज़ादी के बाद मोदी के शासन में पाकिस्तान का झंडा लहर रहा है जम्मू और कश्मीर में। पाकिस्तान का झंडा और हमारे सीमा के अंदर आके पाकिस्तान के सैनिक टेररिस्ट मार के निकल जाते हैं और नौजवानों से लेके जितना ही वादा किया था सब फेल।
Meanwhile, after skipping the opposition meet hosted by Congress President Sonia Gandhi, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar will be attending the lunch hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the honour of visiting Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth at his residence. Nitish Kumar said that he is attending the lunch as he has been invited. The Bihar Chief Minister will also be meeting the Prime Minister following the lunch regarding the issue of national policy on distillation of the Ganga. The meeting comes amid speculation of a political realignment in Bihar.
नहीं जाने की बात नहीं है, ये उसको कहिए मिस इंटरप्रिटेशन। हमारे कोई व्यक्तिगत रूप से जाने न जाने की बात नहीं थी। बात है विभिन्न दलों को उन्होंने आमंत्रित किया और हमारे दल से भी प्रारंभ से ही बता दिया था। हमारी पार्टी की तरफ से शरद जी उसमें शामिल हुए और पहले ही से तय था हमारी पार्टी को कि वो जाएगी।
And Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth will be holding delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. He arrived in Delhi on Friday on a 3-day visit to the country. Now, during his first day, Jugnauth held discussions with Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu as well as Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. He will be accorded a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan today, after which External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will call on him. He will later call on the President and the Vice President as well. This is Jugnauth's first abroad visit after taking over as the Prime Minister. A very short break in here. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Rai and you're watching Law of the Land.
It's a very good step in the sense that it will speed up the process of the inquiry and the investigation.
The broader picture is very positive. People are welcoming this move.
Taxation Laws Amendment Act 2017 is an attempt to synchronize the proposed GST regime with the existing taxation statutes.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Big breaking story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. An infiltration bid has been foiled by security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Rampur sector. Now, this is the second bid in 24 hours. 4 terrorists have been killed in the act of security forces following that. The search operations are in progress. The terrorists also attacked an army patrol party in Tral in Pulwama last night. Now, following the attack, an encounter began in Saimu in Tral. There are reports that 3 terrorists are still tapped. Also, a cordon and search operation is currently underway. Well, we'll continue tracking all those developments from Jammu and Kashmir. And earlier, the army foiled an attack by Pakistan's border action team on a patrol party along the line of control in Uri sector of Kashmir. 2 militants were killed in the operation. Now, PTI is quoting police sources as saying that the bodies of the 2 slain militants were lying in no man's land along the line of control. 2 Indian soldiers, remember, were beheaded in a bat action in Krishna Ghati sector of Poonch on 1st of May, which had triggered a strong reaction from India. On Tuesday, the army had said that it launched punitive fire assaults on Pakistani position across the line of control, inflicting some damage. Army sources said that the 2 armed intruders infiltrated from a Pakistani post, which is 200 meters from the LOC in the area. In exchange of fire, both were neutralized at a distance of 500 meters from the line of control in the Indian side. 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 pistol and other warlike stores were recovered from the terrorists. On to some other news now, putting an end to the uncertainty over Class 12 results. The Central Board of Secondary Education, or the CBSE, announced that it will be declaring the result on 28th of May. The board also maintained that it will allow the Delhi High Court order on a moderation policy, which was scrapped last month, and continue with it. Now, HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar had assured students that there will be no delay in the results and justice will be done to everyone. The minister's comments came against the backdrop of the Delhi High Court order that the decision by the CBSE, which would come into effect from this year, would have drastic effect on the students. Moderation policy refers to a practice in which students are given extra marks in subjects regarded unusually difficult or when there have been differences in the sets of question papers. Now, a total of 10,98,891 candidates from 10,678 schools registered for the exams. Delhi region has the highest number of candidates. Big story coming in from Assam, where the wreckage of the missing Indian Air Force's Sukhoi 30 fighter jet was finally spotted on Friday after 3 days of search operations. The fate of the crew, however, is still unknown. The fighter plane went missing with the 2 pilots on Tuesday after taking off from Tezpur Air Base in Assam for a routine training mission. The wreckage has been found in a heavily forested area about 60 kilometers from Tezpur. The Air Force station is 172 kilometers from the China border. Search parties from the army are trekking to the crash site, but their progress has been slow due to bad weather. Meanwhile, the Air Force has ordered a court of inquiry into the accident. The country's frontline Sukhoi 30 MK aircraft was inducted into the Tezpur Air Base in June 2009. Former DGP of Punjab, KPS Gill, passed away on Friday after suffering a cardiac arrest in Delhi. He was 82. Gill was admitted to the Sir Gangaram Hospital after he was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure and a serious heart disease as well. The IPS officer had served twice as the DGP in Punjab before retiring from the force in 1995. He is widely credited with wiping out militancy in the state. Dubbed Super Cop by the media for his crackdown on Khalistani terrorists, Gill was awarded the Padma Shri in 1989. He was subsequently appointed the president of the Indian Hockey Federation. Several dignitaries, including the Prime Minister, expressed their condolences.
अफसोस होया कि पंजाब दे साडे साबका DGP ਉਹ ਅੱਜ पूरे हो गए ने। एक शख्स ने जिन्हां ने उस बड़ी औखी घड़ी विच पंजाब दा बिल्कुल डट के साडी पुलिस फोर्स दी लीडरशिप की थी।
पंजाब देश से टूट जाता, पंजाब खालिस्तान की तरफ बन जाता, पंजाब एक पाकिस्तान से मिलने की स्थिति हो जाती। पर KPS गिल जो ऐसे बहादुर थे जिन्होंने मौत का कफन बांध करके लड़ाई लड़ी और पंजाब को अमन शांति दिया। आज
News from neighbouring Sri Lanka, where at least 91 people have been killed and more than 100 are missing after torrential rains triggered floods and landslides in the country. Following a request from the Sri Lankan government, now India has dispatched 2 ships with relief material and has also sent special medical teams. The early rainy season downpours have forced hundreds of people from their homes across the Indian Ocean island, while military boats and helicopters have been sent to help the rescue operations. Number of authorities have also appealed to United Nations and other neighbouring countries for assistance as well. Sri Lanka's Disaster Management Centre said that the death toll was rising as reports were filtering in from outlying areas as well. Evacuation notices have also been issued to the residents along the Kelani River, which flows through Colombo, amid fears that it was about to burst its banks. Now, with the heavy rainfall expected to continue, people are being advised to move away from swollen rivers and hills areas as well that are prone to landslides. The leaders of the Group of 7 or the G7 industrialized nations signed a joint declaration on combating terrorism. The 15-point document says the fight against violent extremism is a major priority of the G7, which will bring the fight to a higher level by relentlessly preventing, investigating and prosecuting terrorist acts, their perpetrators and supporters. The G7 leaders also pledged to combat the misuse of internet by terrorists. They called on internet giants to crack down on extremist content. Now, the G7 consists of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK and the US, while the EU also has representatives present. But the summit in Taormina in Sicily failed to agree on climate change. On Saturday, the second and the final day today, The leaders are expected to discuss human mobility, food security and gender equality.
I think that we showed with this declaration our unity, our commitment, our determination to continue and strengthen our fighting against terrorism. And after what happened a few days ago in Manchester, this is also a message of friendship and community with UK.
Thank you, Paolo, and thank you to everybody sitting around this table for the support that you have shown to the United Kingdom in the face of this absolutely horrific attack that took place. And I think it is important that as leaders we have shown our fierce determination to ensure that we use every tool available to us to fight against terrorism and protect our people.
Now, the Egyptian military has carried out several airstrikes against purported terrorist training camps in Libya. Reports said that Egyptian warplanes carried out at least 6 airstrikes against terror camps in the eastern Libyan city of Derna. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said that the strike was in retaliation to an attack on Coptic Christians. Earlier in the day, gunmen attacked a bus carrying worshippers in central Egypt, killing at least 28 people and wounding 25 others. Although no group claimed responsibility for the attack, Islamic State militants have targeted Copts several times in recent months. Now, Egyptian state media reported that the militants targeted were the ones who had been involved in the attack on Egyptian Christians. President Sisi said that he would not hesitate to strike terrorist camps anywhere. Announcing the strike in a television speech late on Friday, he promised to protect his people from the evil. Sisi added that countries supporting terrorism should be punished. He also appealed to US President Donald Trump for help.
اللي انتوا شفتوه النهارده مش هيعدي كده. المعسكرات اللي خرجت منها واللي بيتم التدريب فيها للعناصر ديت وانا بكلمكم دلوقتي تم توجيه ضربه ليها جامده جدا. وبالمناسبه مصر لن تتردد ابدا في توجيه ضربات ضد معسكرات الارهاب في اي مكان.
On to sports now, and India's campaign at the Sudirman Cup ended after they went down 0-3 against top seed and 10-time champions China in the quarterfinals of the mixed team championship on Friday. It was an uphill task for the mixed doubles pair of Ashwini Ponappa and Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy to put up a gritty show in front of the world number 2 pair of Lu Kai and Huang Yukang. The experienced Chinese combination had the last laugh as they beat Indian shuttlers 16-21, 21-13, 21-16 in the first match that lasted an hour and 3 minutes. Whereas Kidambi Srikanth has the enormous task of taming the Olympic champion Chen Long. In the 48-minute men's singles match, Srikanth showed some spark, but he could not come close to threatening the supremacy of the Chinese. In the end, it was a 16-21, 17-21 defeat against Long that saw India slip to 0-2 deficit in the 5-match rubber. Post that, the next 2 single matches, which PV Sindhu was supposed to play, became inconsequential. Well, that's it from me and my team in this edition of news. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.